Welcome to Chill Time with Jose. I'm your host today, Jose, and we've got a lot to go through with you guys today in both the CSGO scene and the outside. I'm actually going to do a feature topic on my specialty subject being shares and stuff like that, because I'm not a share trader per se, but I'm a financial advisor, which we do trade shares based on research from other companies. So I do have some authority to kind of back that. But first things first, get through the CSGO stuff, and we're going to go with what everyone wants to know, okay, which is the CSGO release stuff. So if you guys are completely unaware, CSGO released a new patch. So basically, you can get stickers for some teams. I'm going to tell you guys now. Some of the teams that in these stickers don't play anymore, like 100 Thieves and stuff like that. But what someone said, one of the managers said, I think it was the previous 100 Thieves manager, that all these proceeds go to the players. They don't go to the org. So 100 Thieves won't be seeing any of this money. So they made a few updates, and well, there's been one update in particular that they have made, which is angered a few people, okay? So let's get this one as well, because they made a recent announcement as well, according to Decay, I think his name's Jason, I forget, but just in case you guys are wondering, is that they've changed the punishment system for the coaches, that ESIX has handed out their punishment, and now Valve's handing out their punishment, whether, depending on how much exploits they did and stuff like that. Like, as you guys can see here, like you can see they've got a matrix of punishment, stuff like that. You can be banned from the major, okay? And as you can see here, these 5 players here are banned from the major, which is basically Twister, Ration, PRD, Apoka, Zona, Finn, Ale, and B. Now, there's been a joke made by Biggie, because it's the second time that Biggie's been banned from the major again, because he was banned as a player due to VAC ban. And someone's like, Biggie, the only person who's ever been banned twice from Valve majors. Now, so that's going to be a big blow for Gambit, but I think Gambit already got their coach in as well already. This is where I have no idea where Forze, why Forze have even picked up Zona, to be honest. Yeah, someone else did join ESIC as well. I'm bringing up that tweet now, just in case you're wondering. And it's a bit questionable. I'm sitting there going why would you bring Zone into your coaching group when he's banned? He can't go to a major ever. He's gonna be banned for 36 months from any ESIC event. So I have no idea why Forze picked him up. And rightfully so, I caught out my community when he was there, seriously. I know Twister and Ration have not been picked up. Twister's unlikely to be picked up. Ration's going to be unlikely to be picked up. I can tell you now, basically what they've done to coaches as well is that that's not the only change. Okay? So we'll go to the next one, which is basically the reaction to it. But what happened was that the coaches the new announcement is that the coaches cannot be in the same room. Nobody can be in the same room as the players. And that the coaches can't talk, can't be in the same server, can't have any sort of communication with the players at all. Okay, so there's not even, they can't even be in the game. Okay, so they're only before the game and after the game, and that's it. They can't talk during timeouts and stuff like that. And I gotta say, myself, I got pissed off at this as well, because I'm going, you can easily enforce this. It's not really too difficult to enforce this. Get all these players into Discord. I mean, I can tell you now, if Valorant do it already, and there's a lot of TeamSpeak servers in Australia which already do it, where they have a Bance room, who else? Who's the other team? A Vertex room and stuff like that, where Vertex players will be in that room because they're the only ones to know the password, and that they would be playing in those TeamSpeak servers and Discords and stuff like that. And I've got to say, they can probably easily do this for Discord Valve, to be honest, where they can have both teams in Discord servers, and then their coach gets unmuted during timeouts, and then they're server muted, so they can't say anything, okay? They can't change their names or anything like that. And that's, a lot easier. But this is only for online. So this is why I'm making these ideas for online early, because in offline, there's no issue, okay? The main issue why Valve made any of these changes is because of reasons, okay? The main reason why Valve made this change is because they can't police it. I think what they can do to police is just get the webcams in the room and make sure the door's shut, and make sure they can see the door, make sure no one's in the room at all before they actually start playing. And yeah, I don't use dark mode because I see VA using dark mode. I think the last time I used Twitter dark mode, it got pretty weird. So it actually blended in with my overlay, which I don't want to do. But yeah, like, you know, that's been pretty much it with this change. And I think it's a pretty poor change, in my opinion. Like, they chose the easy way out. And then again, they've always said they didn't really like coaches and stuff like that in the CSGO game. Also, as well, another update with the Road to Rio stuff, the RMR events. If you use a 6 player, you get punished 20% of your RMR points. So effectively, if you want to go to a major, you can't be having a 6-man roster because that's going to completely F up your standings. So that's been thrown in the bin as well. And yeah, you know, there's been this Valve have pretty much going to say, like, you know, clearly can't. I don't know what Valve are doing, to be honest. Like, they can easily solve this issue. Just get the TOs to say, you know, we've got a Discord server here. You get only the 5 team players can go in here, and the coach only talks when there's a timeout. Okay, like the coach is moved in, talks to the players, and then is moved out after the 30 seconds. And like someone would be like, oh, dude, that's hard to enforce. Like, you got referees, like match referees, okay? They can probably do that with some assistant, okay? Like, they can probably be like, okay, we'll drag in Gueri into the Fury channel because they've just called the timeout, and then they talk for 30 seconds and stuff like that. Now, basically, Valve also said they never really wanted 6 player either previously, so this is not too big of a surprise, but seriously, I think coaches are going to become a big thing for a lot of esports, because it's already a big thing for WoW, okay? WoW, a game where you wouldn't think you need a coach, and, you know, coach, raid leader and stuff like that, yet in Complexity Limits, they have said people like Max is the raid leader, but Max doesn't actually play in the game. Just in case you guys are wondering, he doesn't actually play a character in the game. He's managing 20 people to do the attempts and stuff like that. You need analysis in WoW as well. Like, they run through like certain bosses and stuff like that. They run through strategies. Like, Complexity Limit have about 2 in analysis, and the raid leader being Max. So, and these guys aren't even in the game. Like, it's just 20 different people in the game, and Max is just coordinating everything in the fight without actually being in the fight, which is actually kind of crazy. So this is easily doable. Like, you know, basically esports is going to go away where the coaches are going to be more involved with the game, basically. Like, they already got analyst desk and coaches behind CSGO already. So I think it's a bit of a 2-step back approach. Also as well, about the update with the ESIC on the AU scene, just in case you guys are wondering. Basically MJC, I don't know how to pronounce that name, but I'm just going to call Michael Carmody, okay? It makes it easier. But, like, basically ESIC are going to provide the players for the reason why they were banned in relation to the betting scandal without paying the $500. And I still stand by my tweets. He's screen sharing a few different players. Yeah, exactly. Like, he doesn't actually play the game, but he's got streams coming towards him. I'm talking about Max, by the way. And we're back with ESIC again. They are going to be giving, like, basically reasons of why these players were banned. Now, another little, thank you for the sub, Slippy. Another little thing as well that's came up on Michael Carmody's Twitter page is not that top part, but this part as well, okay? Like, where is it? Is this. Okay. So, what's happened is apparently, I'm not terribly too sure, it's a rumor, but some of the ESIC people may have been using HLTV rather than the ESCA page, because some of the players that are banned have never ever played ESA Premier or have quit for multiple years plus. That's only 2 people, by the way. I think it's Jamie, who hasn't played ESA Premier in a year, and a few other things like that. And I think a few people might get let off for the fact that they were not playing professional CSGO at that time at all. And in fact, one person was going to be promoted to the ESA Premier, and they were actually shocked that they were banned because they never actually participated in it. But there's more updates on this as it comes in. But I'm going to say now, like, it's only a minority of bans. It's not all the bans. I've already said my piece before about what I feel. I feel like anyone with 12 to 24 should get a suspended sentence. Because I can tell you now, a lot of the AU scene didn't actually know. A lot of people have been arguing with legalities and stuff like that. dude, it's clear cut illegal to do that. Like, basically, not knowing is not a defense. And like a lot of people have been taking the piss out of me for that. Like, someone goes, I don't know criminal law and stuff like that. I'm sitting here going like, dude, man, it's like, I know my criminal law. Okay, I know my criminal law. Like, there are people like going, oh, you don't know anything, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, you can't do that. Like, you can't bet on a league that you're involved with. It's kind of common sense. Even every single sports code has it. So I think a lot of people who are trying to say it's not illegal because it's not ECA's rulebook is literally barking up the wrong tree. It's like, I had one guy ages ago was saying it, like, when the unions got done for, I think it was a privacy issue. Like, basically they got done for releasing people's private information, and they're like going, oh, it's not in the union handbook, so it's not illegal. And I'm going, it doesn't matter about what the union handbook says. Like, if it's illegal according to another statute, it's still illegal. So I think people got to realize that as well. Like, if it's in E6 rulebook and ECA don't state it, then it's not ESA's problem. ESA is there to run a league. It isn't to run sports integrity. Like, that's what a lot of people got to realize, is that ESA doesn't run sports integrity. So if you're going to ask ESA questions about sports integrity, it's like asking a doctor on what sort of like fire insurance that you want. Okay, like what sort of house insurance you want. You're not asking the right people in the first place. Now, I feel like the 12 and 24 month sentence is a bit harsh for some of these players that didn't actually know. They legitimately didn't know, won't do it again. I reckon they should probably get let off. Anyone with 36 to 60 months, they're going to have to appeal, because a lot of that is game integrity breaking, such as betting on yourself, you know, against games, betting against your own team, and aggressively betting against your own team. You know, that they're possible match fixing integrity issues. And yeah, you know, pretty disappointed to see that in the Australian scene. Like, there's a few players who did that, like a few players, up and coming players as well. But it's good to get those guys weeded out before, you know, something really bad comes up, and the Australian scene is just known for, like, well, then again, people have gone on about now for just being a match fixing scene and stuff like that, not really an honest scene. Even though they've gone on about it already, they go 35 people banned for match fixing, even though it's like probably 4 or 5 people that are in the serious category, and about 30 people who are not in the so serious category. But in other news, okay, which we're going to put up now, Relog Media, which is basically the people who run Snow Sweet Snow and a few other tournaments, have now joined E6. So basically any team or any player that's banned by ESIC is now banned from casting, or not casting, but casting or participating in any of Relog events. Now, only people it's really going to affect is casters, let's be honest, because like no AU teams is going to be in a Relog Media event, okay? Like, think about it. None of the Australian teams are ever going to be there. So it's mainly like casters and stuff like that who betted they're going to probably be banned. What else as well? I think Relog Media have done a few other events as well. I'm not totally too sure. I'm trying to think of it. I know they did Home Sweet Home, Snow Sweet Snow. I'm not totally too sure. So yeah, it's good to see that Relog Media are actually taking it seriously to be a big T2 tournament organizer. There's another one, Nerd Street Gamers, but they've moved straight into Valorant, which is like basically the NA scene's like gone into Valorant. Next up is I'm going to say it's pretty pitiful, to be honest, with this. I'm not saying it's pitiful for the fact that ESIC actually fined Vitality. I'm just talking about the amount. Okay? Like, I'm going to tell you now, that's probably not even 1/10 of a person's salary in Vitality. Okay? Not even 1/10 or 1/20th, okay? ESIC, yes, great work for fighting teams, okay? There's other ways than to just broad brush ban teams. You can find more than 10k, okay? You can find more than 10k. Just find 50k. Let them know you're fucking serious, okay? Let them know you're fucking serious about it. Okay, like you gotta use this kind of thing as a deterrent. Just in case you guys are wondering, basically when the players were playing, the stream was playing behind them, and if the players turned around, they could potentially see it, okay? But of course, the players never turned around, okay? Players never turned around at all. And yeah. you gotta be upping these fines, in my opinion. It's great that you've gone to the fines, but you gotta up them because that's not enough. Like, simply not enough. Like, those fines are gonna be a bit higher, in my opinion. Like, on Vitality. Like, I'm expecting like 50k, 60k, 70k fines for stream sniping. And like, you're gonna get all these people who are up in arms about them getting banned for 12 months. And then you have, tier 1 teams getting 10k fine. Like, come on, a slap on the fucking wrist. Compared to what some of these other players are getting for the betting stuff and stuff like that. Similar things as well. Didn't they win like 200k something for the tournament? Yeah, exactly. Like, basically, I think Flashpoint got it right. Like, with what they did. So, Flashpoint, actually, in fact, Flashpoint fined more than whatever. Now, a lot of people have been really, really scummy about this with ESIC. Like, a lot of people have been going like, ESIC, what's your grift? What are you going to do with that 10k? Stuff like that. And I'm sitting here going like, ESIC have been the less griftiest organization there is, and they don't deserve any of the fucking scorn. Like, people are going after ESIC about stuff with the Australian stuff. I'm like, ESIC's not the problem here. If you want to know who's the problem, who's the organization that's meant to be representing you? To, go toe-to-toe with ESIC and be like, hey, it's a bit unfair here and there. Like, I'm going to tell you now, Michael Carmody, like, even though MJ said, I love him, like, he's a great person, big guy in the scene, he shouldn't be dealing with this, okay? Like, you've got a player organization, association, that should be dealing with this, okay? Like, that's what I'm talking about here. CISPA should be helping you guys that are banned. Shouldn't be Michael. Michael's doing a great job, hands off to him. And he's doing the job of the association. Okay? G'day, Motion, man. Like, I think Motion's banned for 12 months, as far as I know. But, have you had any contact with CISPA, Motion? Like, any contact from CISPA at all about this? Like, you probably had more contact with ESIC than you had with CISPA. And that's what I'm saying. Like, CISPA's got to really act with this because this is an AU scene. Did you say Motion? Yes, I did say Motion. Or you're Motion's friend. Oh, no, I'm trying to think which Motion you are. Fuck, But yeah, Anyway, don't worry about it too much. But I was just asking if CISPA had talked to you about the bans. About doing any representation about the bans. To, get ESIC to disclose information to you. Or did Michael Carmody do all of it? Like, about the 12-month ban that you've got. Or I'm getting the wrong person. But anyway, I digress. But that's the issue at the moment, is that CISPA really need to act here. They really need to act here. Otherwise, you might as well, the Australian CSGO players, might as well just start their own union. See if Michael Carmody wants to be ahead of it. Because at this stage, they might as well, because they're just being left in the dark. Now, we got to get onto another article, which is a kind of a big thing as well. Vitality ban for streaming to get a 10k fine. I reckon it should be a lot more. I reckon what ESIC should do, if they start doing it, just start throwing out the 50ks. Just seriously, just treat it a bit seriously. Now, talking about CISPA, that's really failed someone. I have okay, maybe CISPA and ENCE, given what ENCE have done. So Yumpy's moving to Valorant despite on legal tender, on court record, according to Richard Lewis. I haven't checked it myself, unfortunately. That Valve know that it wasn't Yampy on the account cheating. Okay. So, yeah. What's so bad about that? It's the amount that's bad about it. They need to appear to, punish teams more for stream sniping, okay? Compared to people who get banned for 12 months, get a more severe ban. It's kind of to set example to the top tier teams that they can't keep doing this. And just getting, a little slap on the wrist instead. If you get what I mean. It's good that they're finding it. I said it was great that they're finding it. But a big, big slap to be like, hey, this is not on. So the teams will actually take big precautions to make sure that doesn't happen. But anyways, so with Yumpy left ENCE because he's got a VAC ban. And basically he's got left without a team because of what happened with Arlu. And he's just going to go to, he's just going to go to Valorant because he can play pro Valorant there. And this is the problem with Valve, CISPA, and a lot of other people as well, is that no one's helping this kid out. Like, seriously. The kid probably didn't want to leave CSGO. But, like, when he's got no team and got no fucking future in CSGO, and he's a great FPS player, where do you think he's fucking walking? Somewhere where he can actually get to the, like, the top tier and get some real moolah if he wins it with a team. Like, some guys go, oh, it's not all about the money and stuff like that. Sometimes it is, because sometimes people got to put food on their table. Even though he's 19, of course, he might have parents and stuff like that, you know, helping him out. He's still got to fend for himself in about 2 to 3 years or whatever. And yeah, like, you know, that's the kind of thing. Like, he actually mentions in an article that the first reason all of you know is that the VAC ban. Like, Valve, first of all, CISPA, second of all. It's all about the money? No, not really, because some people just like the game and don't want to play Valorant. Like, some people play CSGO even though they can make more money in Valorant, okay? Like, there are people like that. But all I'm saying is just, like, Yumpy's leaving because he can't compete in the big leagues, where that's where he's going to be ending up. You know? And yeah, he's going to just join Riot Gaming, stuff like that. He's even put a video out. I don't want to, like, watch the entire video. And yeah, like, pretty much, like, just in case you guys are wondering, he could have been OG as well. And yeah, basically, it's like, come on. Just remove the VAC ban. Like, seriously. It's a failure from Valve. It's a failure from CISPA from not really pushing the issue for Fingo. Because CISPA didn't even help him out. Like, Yumpy went to court. And it was basically Yumpy going to court by himself. No CISPA help. And, like, this is where ESIC's not even involved, by the way. Because this is beyond ESIC. It's Valve saying it. ESIC can't do jack shit. Because it's developers saying it. And this is where you can say, like, hey, it's not actually ESIC's problem here. It's actually Valve, CISPA, and a lot of other people who've let this player down. And they've let this player basically walk to Riot, Valorant, and trust me, Riot have their own issues, okay? Like, Riot have their own issues. You'll see it pop up in about a year's time when they go to exclusive Premier League, where you're going to see a lot of issues. Like, you're basically going to see this whole bunch of fallout where casters will lose jobs. Like, basically, no more tournaments will be played. Basically, tournaments are up to the end. It'll just be Riot tournament, no other tournaments. Okay? That's what's going to happen. Like, I don't think people see this coming. They're trying to grow the sport. They're like, oh my god, I get this opportunity. And what's going to happen is come drop time, bam, you're out. Sorry, you can go back to wherever, man. Like, you know, we've got our own casters. Like, just in case you guys are wondering, like, a lot of people are taking chances right at the moment. Got to be very, very careful of that. You got to be top of the top, okay? Like, if you're not doing the top events at the moment, be very, very, very careful of how much time you spend in that Valorant scene, because it might be wasted, okay? At worst, it'll be wasted. At best, you'll get some experience out of it. Because Riot always do this. It's not an open circuit. But then again, you could also argue as well that every single esport's going to be closed circuit, okay? Let's take the cynical view, first of all. Is that since big orgs don't want to lose money and don't want to put so much effort in managing teams, they get into these exclusive leagues so they can make money off merch while doing very little in managing teams, okay? So they don't have to manage qualifiers and stuff like that. Similar things that Valorant would go Overwatch League, yeah, so I think it's going to be franchised. Like, it's pretty obvious. Like, they just get a bunch of big orgs and be like, you know, put a slot, like 500k up for a slot. Every org will purchase it. Every org will, you know, make merch, stuff like that. Make money. That's pretty much what they do. Like, that's why a lot of these NA teams don't want to support an NA team, because they have to actually manage their team. Because their slots on the line. Meanwhile, with franchising, you just have to pay money. Like, you can throw money at it and you've got a slot. But the problem is, when you throw money at that slot, it basically kills your tier 2 scene. Because the tier 2 scene, the tier 2 orgs will never be able to afford a slot in the first place. So they just basically die. So that's literally what happens. Basically, what's happened in League of Legends, Overwatch League, and stuff like that, the tier 2 scene doesn't exist. Okay? Like, if you're not in the OPL or the LEC and all those pro leagues, there's no scene. Like, it's just basically tier 1 or GTFO. Because, like, basically, League has it. League has a franchise league system. StarCraft 2 doesn't, as far as I know. But there's a lot of franchise system. Like, Overwatch League's Blizzard's first franchise system, just in case you guys are wondering. So what's going to happen is that all these esports are going to get franchised, okay? In my opinion, even CSGO, I reckon. What's going to happen is that Valve's going to reach at some point, be like, okay, well, let's create an exclusive league, and that's going to kill the open circuit just like that. That's why CSGO has been probably the better league overall with player development and stuff like that, is because of the fact that it's not a franchise league. Okay? Despite the partial franchise league we have with ESL Pro League and stuff like that at the moment, it's always been open circuit. Okay? Always been open circuit. That's probably one of the better things for CSGO. Like, it allows talent to rise up through the ranks and stuff like that, compared to like Overwatch League and stuff like that, where they're just getting talent from like other esports to come in to do their events because they know they're good enough, and their talent pool doesn't really grow too much as per se. It's a similar thing. Next up is Extremum actually finally did it. They actually picked up the 100 Thieves roster plus Bentet from Gen.G. I'm not happy if that happens. What's going to happen? Because big orgs aren't going to go to leagues where they have a chance of losing their spot if their team is no good. Okay? It's simple as put. Simple as that. Like, people might use a different like amount of like justifications, but simply put, like, big teams are willing to throw money at players as long as they're semi-competent at the game and can get themselves league spots. Like, that's pretty much it. But anyways, we got Azar, Bentet, all that stuff. They're being set up for Extremum, and essentially they lost 100 Thieves. This is the most weirdest one that Extremum, out of all teams, picked up the 100 Thieves, given that Extremum is not really a well-known Russian organization. And this is like what an example of an org that will be missing, for example, just in case you guys are wondering, that we kind of missing if it gets all franchised to the big players, stuff like that. Like, you're gonna have, like, let's just say they have an exclusive league. You have TSM buy a team, okay? You're gonna have 100 Thieves magically buy a team. You're gonna have all these NA orgs that will go, oh, we didn't have enough money, suddenly have money to buy teams, okay? It's all because of exclusivity, okay? Because they want that extra little blanket that they're gonna be safe without actually having to manage their team, okay? Because they want to see where the top players come to them instead of they have to go out and find the top players. Okay, simply put. Because from their perspective, the less they have to manage something, the easier it is for them. Okay, so it's easy money at this point. And then it puts the pressure on the other little leagues and stuff like that, or the little teams, and being like, well, your talent is probably going to go elsewhere purely because of the fact that your team doesn't have a spot in like the CSGO exclusive league kind of thing. But anyway, let's see what we got here. We got Letney. Letney actually finally comes back as a analyst manager. And we got Kassad in as well. Probably a pretty good lineup. Kind of sucks that they're missing JKS, but JKS isn't performing quite well at Complexity currently. And I think Complexity is having a big issue at the moment with their juggernaut. And I gotta say, that was probably dying when Obo went. Now, DreamHack opens, announces their calendar. So there's gonna be 7 opens. So basically, just in case you guys are wondering, it's going to be all online other than Winter and Atlanta. They're just hoping they can return to LAN at the end of next year. Everywhere else will be online. As you can see here, there'll be EU NA, NA South America, NA Asia, NA South America again, and then Europe and Oceania. So, yeah, Oceania only gets 1 DreamHack open, so that kind of sucks. And then you've got the LAN events, 1 in Atlanta, and then 1 at Winter, which I'll most likely go to, potentially. And, you know, I'll be going to all of those. There's no Masters this year, unfortunately. I don't think there is. So, you know, it's just going to be a few more opens as per se. Time to start up a team. To be fair, you need a lot more money to start up a team than you used to previously need. Next up, we got Virtus Pro Bix Furia. As I said before, you know how I said last week that this CS Summit spot, this Group C, was practically the group of death. And as I said, Furia would lose to Virtus Pro. Indeed, I was right. Redeemed. redeemed, okay? Absolutely fucking redeemed. So good. So good. I like being right, okay? I like being right. So as well, since I think Lag 13 suggested this as well, that Apex have got a spot in the ESA Premier by picking up Relaxer and Freddy Frog. And they also got Craze coming in as well. And at the moment, they've got this roster down here, which is going to be Grusan, Dennis, Freddy Frog, Relaxer, Craze, and Polly. And basically, they eventually, once Freddy Frog and Relaxer have played their like enough games, they'll put Nasty and Marcelius back in the roster. So basically, at the moment, they're using the players that were in Galaxy Racer formerly, and then basically going to replace them. Basking in the glory there? Oh, damn right I am. I'm going to say now, damn right I'm basking in that glory, because holy crap. They don't win that often, okay? Like, I don't get that. I don't get a lot of things correct that often, okay? About, Virtus Pro and stuff like that. So, I'm incredibly happy with that. Now, what else have we got here? Next up, we got Blast. So, Blast revealing their new groups. So, we got Astralis, Big, OG, Nip, Navi, Liquid, Phase, MRBR, Complexity, EG, G2, Vitality. And just in case you guys are wondering, Big Clan was made available. I think it's the bottom two go to the showdown. And yeah, basically it's unknown for Complexity if Poison's ever going to return from the lineup, given they had emergency surgery. Basically, since 100 Thieves left their spot and, no one's there anymore, Big was picked up. Kind of a really, really big achievement for Big to finally get into the Blast. I mean, because they were left out of cold in ESL Pro League previously. It's really amazing for them to see them back into a Premier League and stuff like that at the moment. Next up, we got the European Development Championship Season 2. This is the Tier 2 league. Been a lot of teams in this league, as you guys can see. Like, look at these. A lot of Tier 2 teams, a lot of Tier 3 teams. Ooh. Smoothie playing for Movistar Riders. I'm actually casting these guys tonight, funnily enough. I didn't know I'd be casting Smoothie tonight. That's interesting. I'll check if Smoothie is in the Movistar team on ECA. He is, actually. That's interesting, actually. So I was updated. I'll be casting this game today. But either way. So as you can see here, a lot of Tier 2 teams in here, including North. What did I say? Did I say including North? Yes, I said including North being a Tier 2 team. Well, yeah, a lot of Tier 2 teams in this league. I gotta say, Eden Esports has done a really, really good job. They're probably another up-and-coming with Relog Media. I reckon Eden Esports will probably sign E6 stuff very, very shortly. Next up is Chris J's joined Fun Plus Phoenix. Just in case you guys aren't aware, on the other end is that Acor's joined Mouse Sports. So Chris J is getting told to move along. And last but not least, Existence partway the Danish team. They're probably going to go back to Spain, to be honest. I'm actually a bit surprised that Existence even had a team. And that allows Tensky, Queen X, Mertz, and Zeves to basically go elsewhere, essentially. Now, basically, that's going to be it for CSGO today. We're going to talk about very, very important things, such as what is short selling, because we're going to go into our next article, which everyone knows a lot about. But, since you don't know what it is, we can't really start to really discuss it with you, okay? Like, it's going to be hard to discuss because none of you guys will know what I'm talking about when we get to said thing. So we're going to do some just chatting. Now, just in case you guys don't know what short selling is basically speculates a decline on a stock or other securities price, is an advanced strategy that should only be used by experienced traders and investors. They may use this speculation, investors or portfolio managers may use it as a hedge against the downside of a long position in the same security or related one. Speculation carries the possibility of a substantial risk as advanced trading methods. Hedging is more common transaction, basically offsetting positions. So this is what investment managers should be doing, okay? So in short selling, a position is opened by borrowing shares of a stock or other asset that the investor believes that will decrease by value by a set future date, the expiration date, and an investor sells these borrowed shares to the buyers willing to pay a market price. Before the borrowed shares must be returned, the trader is betting that the price will continue to decline and that they can purchase them at a lower cost. And basically, the risk of a short sale is theoretically unlimited since the price of the asset can climb to infinity. And this is why basically stock exchanges made naked short selling illegal. So you have to have a hedge in your short sell to buy at a certain price at a later date. You cannot have I'll short sell this and have no buy in place to buy it at a later date. If you do not have that, you are effectively making a naked short sale, which is illegal, because they're basically trying to stop people from speculating the market that's going to fall down in price. Now, key takeaways is that short selling occurs when a blah 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 does not open market, plan to paying back later for less money. They bet on or profit from drop in securities price. This can be contrasted with long investors who want the price to go up. It's a high risk, high reward ratio. You can offer big profits, but losses can mount quickly. So just in case you're wondering why all the big fund managers are losing money, is because of facts that they're basically that to buy back shares at $200 rather than the $5 they shorted it for, which means they lose like $195 per stock, which is not very good, okay? And this is why the markets have put in a hedging position like that. Naked shorts, what they're doing is illegal because they didn't want companies doing this and then losing all their money and then expecting a bailout, okay? That's exactly what they didn't want. So what's happened is that, well, basically short sellers lose about 5.05 billion in bet against GameStop, okay? So this is why the market didn't want this. And there's a lot of people who are very, very pissed off, let's just say, pretty much. So this is an article from Deborah D'Souza from Investopedia. So short sellers are betting against more retailer like GameStop have lost 5.0 billion because of Reddit. Okay, let's just pretty much put that in. So Reddit have been increasing the price, squeezing the shorters out, basically, okay? And there's a lot of shorts in there who have not hedged their positions and are losing a lot of money. I know Melvin Investment Capital, who are basically having a lot of shorts on GameStop, basically had to borrow money to keep afloat. Like they had to sell their previous holdings to keep afloat. Now, basically they put a 12.5 billion and lost almost 30% on Friday. And it had to get 2.75 billion from fellow hedge funds Citadel and 0.72. And it apparently closed out its short position. So, not to mention that this company also does a lot of shorts in a lot of other things as well, and had to sell out those positions as well. And essentially, as you can see here, it's like a 90s, 100%. And pretty much what's happened is that the short sellers have been caught out by not hedging their shorts. Just in case you guys are wondering. They had played naked shorts and they're getting caught out. Now, this is what's happened. And yeah, just in case you're wondering, okay, basically it's sold short at 140%, which means people are thinking it's naked shorting, but like people think, hey, it's more closer to 58%, okay? I'm thinking there's some naked shorting involved in this, and the regulators really, really failed. Like, SEC has really, really failed in this circumstance. Like, I feel like there's some shorts in here, okay? And essentially what's happened is that due to the stock of borrow supply, because everyone's keeping their shares, and essentially, I can tell you now, like, all these shorters are in awful positions because now they have to buy the shares and they're going to be buying for $200 and return it to invest in the first place. So, yeah. So, what's happened is that there's been a lot of brokers who have stopped buying on GameStop, okay? To try and prevent people from doing this, because what's happened is that settlement houses, okay, where they settle stock and stuff like that, have actually ran out of GameStop stock to actually trade because they've traded so much of it that they actually can't handle it, okay? So a lot of the broker apps can't actually buy GameStop because of everyone's bought GameStop through this one settlement house, and they don't have any more GameStop shares. It's possible. And also that the technology as well to just stop buying or selling in a share because of too much volatility in the market. It's kind of like a market thing as well, and that's what they've done. Also, interactive brokers have done it as well. along with AMC, BlackBerry, and other stocks that soared this week in a social media trading frenzy that shook the stock markets. Not really. Didn't shake the stock markets that much, considering the fact that fund managers generally tap my nose, generally generally caused a correction by selling off in the first place. So I wouldn't say that much. So basically, GameStop's a big rally, finished up at $347 a share, plunged when it opened at $265, then ended up in $193. After hours, basically saying they would allow limited buys and security to suspend from trade. So tomorrow we'll allow limited buys and security. And it's out of the Hood blog. Now I'm going to say Robinhood's completely fucked up its reputation. It's probably never going to recover due to this little crisis here. They basically calling a short squeeze. Even Blockbuster shares, I was like, wait, yeah, Blockbuster went under. Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore. With what's going to happen here is that Robinhood's going to have their reputation screwed. I don't think they're going to recover from it ever. Wall Street Bets has been going really hard. That's where all the social media driven has been. They've had their Discord shut down because of hate speech, which this is why you got to be careful with the term hate speech, because they can basically call anything hate speech and shut you down. And essentially, they've bought stocks, 4 million, trading Robinhood, and pretty much like what's happened afterwards is they've gone with a class action lawsuit and have lost out earnings and stuff like that because of the move. Now, a lot of people are getting pissed off. They think it's corruption and stuff like that because because apparently the hedge managers can buy and sell, but they can't buy and sell. Okay, they can't buy and sell at all, but the hedge managers can buy and sell and get out of their positions. Which is that's why they're complaining about it a lot. The people who put lawsuits in. Now, basically, Interactive Brokers stopped trading. Basically, they want regulators to halt or put certain symbols to liquidation only for certain shares. They want the regulators to step in. And I got to tell you now, like, the brokers are feeling a lot of backlash. AOC's apparently made a comment about it. The Jake Chavinsky guy, I believe. There's also a Barstool esports person who's made a big comment about it. Ted Cruz, Donald Trump Jr. has made a comment about it as well. With AOC, I'm going to tell you now, you got to be very, very careful with AOC because AOC generally does things to optics, same with all politicians. So trusting Ted Cruz, AOC, and a few other politicians is probably going to make it flimsy as best until they actually do some action to it, okay? Because some of these people don't do any action to it at all. Elon Musk also did some as well. He also invested some as well. But you got to be careful with these politicians because I've seen AOC do plenty of times where she says, we want a higher pay and stuff like that, and then approve said legislation. I mean, if you want to look at something, the $600 bills that she said it wasn't enough and they didn't have enough time to read the act that they got it given in, she voted yes on it anyway, okay? Despite the song and dance that she's going to vote no, she voted yes on it. So you can't exactly trust a politician. AOC's got a record of saying things that are optically good and then doing the opposite, okay? Like, she's kind of one of those politicians that do that. And, same with Ted Cruz as well. Actually, to be fair, Ted Cruz, to his credit, he said he was going to contest the election about, what happened. And then the Capitol riots happened on the 6th. And basically, Ted Cruz still stood up and said that the election was fraudulent, which he said he was going to do. But Ted Cruz has been a bit of a slimy snake before, so, I don't trust any politician, okay, until they actually put the action to law and it actually goes through. Because some of these politicians, what they do is that they go over a certain side, knowing it will never ever succeed, and be like, oh, sorry guys, I tried. And then you never hear about the issue again. Because that's what they do. So Robinhood's defendants action saying that they're purely due to regulatory requirements and not at the behest of big Wall Street players. This risk management decision was not made on direction of market makers, reroute to, or a trading platform wrote on its blog. Even though, like, basically a few lenders were basically big traders of it. But anyway, let's digress. Small investors are not the only winners. And I'm going to tell you guys now is that, yes, the big fund managers were in this push of GameStop, okay? Like, I'm going to tell you guys now, if you think you pushed the price of GameStop up to $400 by yourself, you're kind of kidding, okay? You're kind of kidding, okay? There's definitely big fund managers helping you guys out because the stock market is like a game to fund managers, okay? Like, they're speculating whether it's going to go good or whether it's going to go bad, okay? And BlackRock being one of the bigger fund managers, just in case you wonder, biggest fund manager, has gained so much from GameStop going up because they hold a long position in it. Okay. Not to mention there's a few Canadian managers as well that hold a lot of it. Like, you guys gotta realize that there's State Street, Global Advisors, Vanguard, Fidelity. They're big fund managers. They're bigger than Melvin. And they've made a fuck ton. Okay? And there's Ryan Cohen as well, who's made a ton of money. He owns 12.9% of GameStop. The stock's gone up like 200 times. Oh, so it's not just people driving the stock up. Yeah, it's fund managers too, okay? I can tell you now, it's probably the fund managers that sold most of the stock when GameStop went tumbling down. Okay, wouldn't be surprised if it was fund managers, you know, when GameStop went from 400 to 120, I reckon it was all the fund managers offloading their stock. Okay? And now basically he paid 76 million. It's probably worth 1.7 billion at the moment. He could probably close out his position, but problem is if he closes out his position, he pays like $300 million in tax. And he probably doesn't want to do that, okay? And yeah, pretty much like other shares take off as hedge funds count losses, like stuff like that. And Reddit's been doing this as well, where they've gone after other companies and stuff like that. Like, for example, BlackBerry, AMC, they've been really doing this to companies that are pretty much dying. And basically, they're trying to get SEC involved, which is basically the US market regulator on the stock market. Now, I'm going to tell you guys now, SEC's going to get involved, okay? Like, I mean, just a little hint to the people who voted in Biden. If you look at Biden's backing, it's 75% Wall Street. So he's going to back Wall Street. So do you think it's historic? It is historic. It's actually shown that people can if they work together, they can manipulate the stock market, okay? Like, it's not just the fund managers and the big boys that can mix the stock market. They can do it too. But it's also shown that if Wall Street starts losing, they start pulling out the dirty and unethical tactics and stuff like that. So they will always win, kind of like the house always wins kind of thing. And yeah, like, you know, it's been shown kind of in the open that the regulator's not doing a damn thing. And it seems like, you know, when the cat's gone, the rats come outside to play kind of thing. And the rats are indeed playing. Like, for example, like these shorts that were being put onto the market, were they hedged? SEC's nowhere to be seen. Because it seems like basically Melvin is basically scrambling to buy stock. So that means they actually never ever actually planned to buy it back to begin with. They were just waiting for it. So yeah. So what's happened is that US Treasury Secretary is monitoring the situation, blah, blah, blah. I don't understand it, to be honest. I'm just gonna say I gotta tell you guys now, they're gonna back Wall Street. Oh yeah, no. The cord's the charger, okay? The cord's the charger. I always forget to take it out. It's the charger. Okay, so I can actually still hear things in this, okay? It's not the actual headset, it's the charger for the wireless headset. I'm just gonna tell you guys now, the regulators gonna probably back the Democrats, who have got all powers of government, are probably going to go back back Wall Street, okay? Your campaign was 75% funded by Wall Street. I don't see them backing against Wall Street, okay? Like, I don't see them going against Wall Street. What's going to happen is they're going to put more regulations in the stock market to prevent this thing from occurring again. And you're going to realize... You're probably going to realize that you may have voted the wrong person in, okay? You may have voted the wrong person in. If you really wanted some unique reform to the market, just gonna say that right now, because if you actually honestly looked at half the election, like if you looked at the election indeed with the people that were in play, even though basically you had two different swamps, you picked the swamp that Wall Street backed, okay? Because Wall Street didn't back Trump. Trump had all the property developers and some hedge funds which deal heavily in property backing him. And if this was like on the property side, you would net get a reform either, okay? But you probably won't get a reform in this area. Basically, I think the government will back Wall Street. You get more maybe heavy-handed regulations. Wall Street bets will probably get banned or taken off Reddit. Wouldn't be surprised, given what mess they've caused already. Now, I don't support that. I think Wall Street bets have highlighted the regulatory body doing sweet FA to some of the fund managers who are flaunting getting really gray areas on the investment rules. Secondly, they're not encouraging responsible investing with some of these guys who are putting out shorts on the market and not hedging them off, which they should be doing. Like, they should always be hedging off their shorts, because it's a guideline to hedge off your shorts. You can't have a naked short. It has to be hedged. And as much as I'd like to see, I'll turn the webcam. As much as I'd like to see responsible investment being encouraged, I just don't think it will happen. I think what will happen, they'll back Wall Street more, and basically the fund managers will get to do what they want again. Okay? Again, like, these investment companies will be able to do the same thing again. We might have a financial crisis later down the track because they short too much. I don't know. Also, as well, there's a lot of people who've taken opportunities to, like, basically say, like, oh, capitalism is bad, communism would fix all of this, or, like, what's the other one as well? I know that one's been one thing, the communism rank. Or that the stock market's made up and, it doesn't actually serve anything, it's imaginary, it's fake monopoly money. And I'm sitting there going, like, guys, like, this situation has probably got an ethical gray area in it if the fund managers can trade, but you cannot. That's quite unfair. But the stock market was invented so people could buy parts of the businesses that were listed, that were public, that wanted to appeal to the masses, like want to raise money from the public instead of going to the private people, blah, blah, blah. They can raise money from the people and be traded publicly so people can trade their shares on market. Like, they can trade 10 shares in, like, Intel to Bob Dole. Like, they have one central location for it, so they can trade ownership in companies back and forth and make it a lot easier to do so compared to back in the old days where it's basically like boardroom meetings and stuff like that. It just makes it easy. You can trade online instead. It's kind of like the great tulip craze in the 1600s. I'm not totally too sure about that. I've never studied that in history, actually. But what I'm saying is that, like, the stock market isn't really fake. It's of course a human being. Like, if you guys don't realize the stock market is a human psyche or human being or human behavior, you have not seen the recent studies on the stock market following human behavior, like it's going on as a random path, overreaction, where they overshoot, like you either go too high or too low to overshoot theory. It's kind of really a study into the human psyche, which means that if you're saying it's kind of a fake thing, then you are completely and utterly incorrect. It is human created, but it's not a fake thing. It's an actual real state of affairs, and it's just to make ownership easy to trade on market. You look like a short seller to me. I wouldn't short sell. I'll play long. Generally with a long position, you make more. You make more money overall compared to being an active trader and going for the short selling. Short selling, you can make one big profit here, and then you can lose on multiple other positions by more. That's why I play long game, because long game overall, if you invest in very, very good mature shares that have a good backing behind it, generally your money goes up. Okay. You just want to be lazy and not active. I'm going to tell you guys now, like, sometimes, like, just having the passive income in the background is just worth it, because you can probably be active on your own business or something like that instead of being a day trader. And now some day traders talk about their winnings, like how much winnings they have and stuff like that, but they never talk about their losses. Okay, on day trading, never talk about their losses. Now, the other one is the communism one. Okay, this is always said that communism and socialism will fix this. It won't. It'll make it worse. Okay? Every time people suggest this, they're like, no, it'll make it worse. They're like, it won't. This stock thing won't happen at all. If it was under communism and socialism. I'm like, yeah, because there'd be no private property. The state would own everything. There'll be no stock market under communism, okay? There'll be no stock market. You can't talk about what's not there. Exactly. Snooks has got it right. You can't talk about what's not there, okay? There'll be no stock market. So, yeah, like, it solves that problem, but it causes a multitude of other problems. Which is like... Like, you know, lack of freedom, for example. You don't actually profit from anything the things that the state makes. You just get given it. People can go like, oh no, but the state will share. No, it won't. It's just gonna be a few elite. Just gonna get all the money in the world, get stupidly rich. It happens every time. It's basically the idealism and practicality, you know, assessment. Okay, when you go into full-blown communism, it works ideally, but doesn't work actually, kind of thing. And there's a lot of people like trying to take this moment out to really try to push their political agenda. Okay, this isn't a hate comment, but you're looking to my soul. I know, Seth. But that's what happens. Like, that's what happens. A lot of people like try to push their agenda there. Stock market's fine, to be honest. Like, it's allowed to do what it wants and stuff like that. Basically, the stock market's a mixture of, like, basically regulations, which you have to have, and capitalism. It's kind of like in controlled capitalism. Hassan pushing hard for this. For what? What's Hassan pushing for at the moment? To be fair, I would imagine him pushing, pushing GameStop, considering Young Turks are probably back, you know? What a few people are thinking. Communism as usual? Nah, that wouldn't solve anything. Like, a lot of people think that more regulation would solve this. It would actually, like, you know, it would actually solve one issue, but cause, like, multiple issues instead. Like, a lot of people got to realize it's like, you know, some of these political systems, stuff like that, they may solve that issue, but they could cause a fuck ton more. Like, when you put up more barriers to entry in a market, the big boys are going to be the only ones that can pay it. So you're going to have less competition. And that's why you need to keep a balance. Because that's what always happens, is that the big boys are the only ones that can actually come to play. And it's like, oh, okay, like, you know, there's no more small players anymore because you scared them off. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for Chill Time with Jose today. I feel like I've discussed a lot about the stock market and stuff like that. Just basically small takeaways is that the stock market, well, it's a human creation, but a much needed structure, basically for our own convenience. It's kind of like money as well, okay? It's like money here, okay? Like, you can give money to people. Like, you can give this 20 cents coin. I think it's from the EU. No, it's America. It's actually American cent, okay? You can give 20 cents and you might get a lemonade back, okay? Like, someone, you know, paid 20 cents for lemonade. That's why money was invented, so everyone had one medium to pay something to pay someone. That's what the stock market is. It is one medium to trade shares on. So pretty much it's a convenience to make things easier to do. Okay? It isn't some made up artificial affairs for the big fat cats to dominate like a casino. It's never like that. Even if people act like that, because humans like to gamble, humans like to speculate. Stock market ain't a casino. Some people just like, oh, you know, I feel like Best Buy is going to profit so much, so I'm just going to invest money in Best Buy. I feel Best Buy's business model is really, really good, and I would buy it. You know, I want ownership of it. It's up to all the intention of the human psyche for it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys enjoyed the chat, socials, subscribe to my YouTube. You can see everything below, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. And for guys on Twitch, I'll be still continuing. For guys on YouTube, you can watch me live on Twitch as well. And I hope to see you guys later. I hope to see you guys next week as well for next Chill Time with Jose. Peace out.